Hi guys, it's Ambarucci and today I'm going to show you guys how to make these beautiful and delicious pomegranate pavlovas. They're a meringue topped with a pomegranate whipped cream, pomegranate seeds, and a pomegranate syrup. Before we get started, don't forget if you enjoy this video to give it a big thumbs up and click down below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. So for the pavlova meringue, you're going to need 6 egg whites, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of Bisquick. I'm using this as a substitute for cream of tartar. I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, which is also going to help stabilize the eggs, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. So to get started, you're going to want to add your 6 room temperature egg whites into your stand mixer, along with the salt, and start whipping that. Once medium peaks start forming, you want to add your vanilla extract and your sugar a little bit at a time. You want to whip that for about 3 minutes until stiff peaks form and it's nice and glossy, just like this. Next, you want to add in your vinegar and fold that in. That's going to help stabilize your egg whites. And I'm going to add the Bisquick and fold that in as well. That's going to help hold the egg whites together and also help absorb any moisture in the egg whites when they bake. I've added some of my egg whites into a piping bag and I'm going to pipe little pavlova rings. You can make a giant pavlova if you want, but I just think it would be cute if I made mini individual pavlovas. So I added my meringue into a piping bag and I am piping 2.5-inch discs onto parchment paper, and I'm making these higher around the edges with a little indent in the center because once these bake, you want to have that indent because these are going to be topped with whipped cream and fresh pomegranate seeds. I've preheated my oven to 305 degrees, and as soon as I insert these into the oven, I'm going to lower the temperature down to 265 degrees and bake these for 45 minutes. Do not open the oven at all while these are baking. While the pavlova is baking in the oven, I'm going to get started on a pomegranate simple syrup for the whipped cream that I'm going to make. So I'm going to be using some pomegranate juice. I would say maybe like 1.5 cups. So over medium heat in a saucepan, I'm going to add the pomegranate juice along with 1 cup of granulated sugar. And I'm going to cook this over like a medium-high heat for maybe like 5 to 7 minutes. After the pomegranate sauce thickens, you want to remove this from the heat immediately and transfer it onto a bowl to cool and set it aside. Here I have a fresh pomegranate and I'm going to take the seeds out of it because I'm going to use that as a topping for our pavlovas. So the best way to cut a pomegranate is to cut off the top first. See some of the seeds there. So what I'm going to do is grab a little bowl and just scoop some of my seeds out. So then now you want to cut your pomegranate into quarters, just like that. And you just want to press outwards so that all the seeds kind of spill out. For the most part, if you remove like this fibrous white skin part from the top layer, they should pop right out. Once I finish removing all the pomegranate seeds from my pomegranate, I'm going to give them a quick rinse and set these aside. So after 45 minutes baking and cooling for an hour in the oven, I removed these from the oven and I let them cool on my counter at room temperature for another like 20-30 minutes. Now one thing, as you can see, that I had piped it in like a circular motion and then it was supposed to have a little dent in the middle. That didn't work, and I think it's because of the Bisquick. because I used that as a stabilizer, and they kind of puffed up more than I wanted them to. But I'm gonna show you one of these that cracked, because they are perfect. They are crisp on the outside and airy and fluffy on the inside, and that's exactly what you want from a pavlova. So even though they don't look the best, they still taste amazing, and they still held their shape, and they're nice and airy on the inside. And they taste amazing. So while my meringues are still cooling at room temperature, I am going to make the pomegranate whipped cream. So here I have 1 cup of heavy cream. And then remember that pomegranate sauce or syrup that I made earlier with the pomegranate juice? Well, this is it. It's been cooling. It is nice and thick. It's a beautiful color. I am going to add some into my whipped cream, but before I do that, I'm going to whip this up. Then I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of this in there while it's whipping. I'll give it a taste and see if I need to adjust it. So I did 1/4 cup of the pomegranate syrup in with 1 cup of the heavy cream. Now I have a pomegranate whipped cream. I tasted it and I think it's perfect like this. If you want it a little sweeter, you can add more of the syrup. I'm going to save the remaining syrup to drizzle over the pavlovas when I'm done. So I'm gonna add my pavlovas onto a plate. I'm gonna add a dollop of the pomegranate whipped cream in the center of each one. I'm going to top them with fresh pomegranate seeds. And a drizzle of the pomegranate syrup. That's what a pavlova should sound like when you bite into it. That crispy meringue outside with the fluffy cloud-like inside. The pomegranate whipped cream, seeds, and sauce all complement the meringue so beautifully, and this dessert is just as delicious as it looks. Thank you for watching my recipe video on how to make these delicious and beautiful pomegranate pavlovas. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. The full written recipe will be on my blog, linked right here, and also check out these delicious passion fruit tarts I made in my last video.